Have you ever stopped to think about how different and even risky traveling can become once you're in your 80s? Maybe you've been traveling your whole life and feel like you've seen it all. But the truth is, as we get older, our bodies and minds don't always respond to new environments the way they used to. Traveling might sound exciting, exotic destinations, new adventures, fresh memories, but after 80, the reality can be very different. Risks, both physical and emotional, can sometimes overshadow the rewards. Now, this isn't about saying don't enjoy life or give up on adventure. Far from it. It's about being aware of the hidden challenges that come with traveling at this stage of life, so you can make smarter choices that keep you safe, healthy, and at peace. In this video, I'll share 6 important reasons why traveling after 80 may not always be the best idea. These reasons come from real-life situations that many seniors face but rarely talk about. And trust me, the last one might surprise you the most and could completely change how you think about future trips. So let's jump in. Reason #1. Higher health risks and limited emergency care. One of the biggest concerns with traveling after 80 is how quickly health issues can pop up, often at the worst possible time. At this age, even a small problem can turn serious fast, requiring immediate care. At home, you know exactly where to go in an emergency. But when you're traveling, that safety net disappears. Not every destination has medical facilities that can handle the kind of care older adults need. Add in language barriers or unfamiliar healthcare systems, and even getting help can take precious time. Time that could mean the difference between a minor scare and a life-altering problem. Imagine this: you're on a tour in a quiet little town, and suddenly you feel chest pain or struggle to breathe. Back home, an ambulance would be at your side within minutes. Abroad, you might find yourself scrambling to locate the nearest clinic, explain your symptoms in a language you don't speak, and hope the facility has the right equipment. And it's not just emergencies. Something as simple as dehydration on a hot day can cause dizziness or fainting. Recovery is often slower at this age, and without quick intervention, what should have been minor can become major. Plus, many seniors rely on daily medications or ongoing treatments. Traveling introduces flight delays, time zone shifts, and unpredictable schedules, all of which can throw off medication routines. Missing doses or taking them at the wrong time can have serious consequences. For those over 80, routine isn't boring, it's life-protecting. And when travel disrupts that rhythm, the risks grow. Another challenge with traveling after 80 is that you give up a lot of control over your environment. At home, you know exactly how things work, how quickly emergency services respond, where the nearest hospital is, and which doctor already understands your health history. On the road, all of that certainty disappears. Even in well-developed countries, hospital wait times can be long and specialized care might be hours away. And if you're managing chronic conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or respiratory issues, every minute counts. This doesn't mean older adults should live in fear. It simply means recognizing that health risks are magnified when you're far from your support system. At home, your doctor knows your history, your pharmacy has your prescriptions, and your family or friends are nearby to help if something goes wrong. Traveling removes that safety net, and suddenly you may find yourself navigating a crisis alone. The truth is, peace of mind comes from having reliable care close at hand. Many people don't realize how valuable that is until it's gone. Travel can be wonderful, but after 80, it's worth asking, is this destination truly worth the potential risks to my health? Being honest about your medical needs and the availability of care where you're headed isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Because ultimately, the greatest journey you can take is protecting the life and health you've worked so hard to preserve. Reason #2. Increased vulnerability to accidents and falls. As we age, our balance, reflexes, and muscle strength naturally decline, even for those who stay active. After 80, these changes make accidents more likely, especially in unfamiliar surroundings where hazards aren't always obvious. Think about the demands of travel: walking on uneven sidewalks, navigating cobblestone streets, climbing staircases without railings, or stepping onto buses and trains designed without seniors in mind. It only takes one slippery surface, one misstep, or one unexpected jolt to cause a fall, and a single fall can impact independence for months, sometimes permanently. At home, you know your environment. You know which shoes work best, which routes are safest, and where to avoid hazards. But on a trip, you're constantly reacting to new situations. Crowded airports, bustling markets, narrow hotel hallways, all of these can catch you off guard. Even something as simple as carrying luggage can throw off your balance and increase your risk of stumbling. And let's not forget, not all destinations guarantee well-lit streets or smooth walkways. A poorly lit sidewalk or uneven step at night could mean a serious accident. The consequences of a fall at this age go far beyond the immediate injury. A broken hip, wrist, or shoulder may require surgery, long hospital stays, and months of rehabilitation. In some cases, recovery may never return you to the same level of independence. Recovery after a fall is often far more challenging at 80 and beyond. Even if the physical injury heals, the emotional impact can linger. A single accident can shake your confidence, making you hesitant to move freely, which in turn may lead to isolation and a gradual decline in physical fitness. Travel also has a way of pushing us past our normal limits. You might find yourself standing in line for hours at a museum, walking long distances on sightseeing tours, or hauling shopping bags back to your hotel. In the moment, it may not seem like much, but these activities can put extra strain on muscles, joints, and balance. Fatigue sets in faster at this age, and when it does, your ability to react quickly to hazards is reduced. Footwear can also play a bigger role than many people realize. While you may pack your most comfortable shoes, certain situations, like dress codes in restaurants or cultural sites, may require less practical options. Shoes without proper grip or support can be a hidden cause of falls. Add in wet sidewalks, slick tiles, or uneven steps, and the risk rises significantly. This isn't about avoiding activity or confining yourself to a chair. It's about recognizing that travel environments aren't always designed with your safety in mind. At home, you've already adapted to your surroundings. On the road, you don't have that same advantage. By being aware of these risks, you can protect your independence and avoid both the physical and emotional setbacks that often follow an accident. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, drop a number 2 in the comments below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way you won't miss any future videos, and your support helps us keep creating content to inform and inspire you. Reason #3. Difficulty adapting to extreme weather and climate changes. Another challenge many people overlook is how the body reacts to sudden climate shifts. By the time we reach 80, our ability to regulate body temperature isn't as strong as it used to be. What feels like a minor change to a younger person can actually be very stressful for older adults. Travel often involves moving between extremes, stepping from a cold, air-conditioned airport into sweltering humidity outside, or leaving behind a warm climate only to arrive somewhere with biting wind and freezing air. These abrupt changes place added strain on the heart, the lungs, and overall energy levels. Even small temperature shifts can cause discomfort or spark health complications. High heat, for instance, can quickly lead to dehydration or heat exhaustion, while cold weather can increase joint stiffness, raise blood pressure, and heighten the risk of more serious cardiovascular issues. Extreme weather isn't the only challenge. Climate changes and altitude shifts can also put extra strain on the body after 80. At higher altitudes where the air is thinner and oxygen is limited, your heart and lungs must work harder just to maintain a normal rhythm. What might once have been an invigorating hike or casual city stroll could now leave you short of breath, dizzy, or completely drained. Humidity is another hidden factor. Tropical or coastal regions often come with heavy, moisture-filled air that can sap your energy and make breathing more difficult, especially for those with asthma or other respiratory concerns. On the flip side, very dry climates can sneak up on you too. They dry out skin, lips, and nasal passages, which not only causes discomfort, but can also make you more vulnerable to infections and dehydration. One of the biggest challenges is that the body becomes less efficient at signaling thirst or fatigue with age. That means problems can quietly build without you realizing it until it's too late. And travel schedules only make things harder. Jet lag, irregular sleep, long hours in transit, and constant time zone changes disrupt your body's rhythm. Add in different foods and drinks than you're used to, and your system has to work overtime just to adjust. Even clothing becomes a bigger challenge. Some destinations swing between cool mornings, blazing hot afternoons, and chilly evenings all in the same day. That means packing and carrying extra layers, which can feel exhausting on its own. Misjudge the weather, and you might find yourself overheated, shivering, or both, each of which can be dangerous when you're older. The truth is, weather and climate are beyond your control once you arrive. Even with careful planning, unexpected conditions can strike. Younger travelers might shrug them off, but after 80, each shift has real effects on your comfort, mobility, and overall health. Adjusting to a new climate takes energy, and at this stage of life, energy is something you need to guard carefully. Being aware of these risks doesn't mean giving up on travel altogether. It simply means protecting your well-being so that your days, whether at home or abroad, are spent in comfort and safety, not in recovery from a climate your body wasn't prepared to face. Reason #4, challenges with long flights and extended transportation. Long flights, lengthy bus rides, and cross-country train journeys can be draining at any age, but after 80, the toll they take on both body and mind becomes far more significant. Hours spent in cramped seats with little room to move can lead to stiff joints, swollen legs, and back pain that doesn't ease up quickly. And unfortunately, the journey often doesn't end with just one leg of travel. Delays, layovers, and transfers can stretch travel days far longer than expected, pushing your endurance past its limit. Long flights and extended journeys also come with serious health risks. Hours spent sitting in cramped seats restrict circulation, which can cause stiff joints, swollen legs, and in some cases dangerous blood clots like deep vein thrombosis. Even if you stand up to stretch now and then, the lack of space and constant sitting slows circulation and drains your energy, fatigue that can last not just hours but days, sometimes even weeks. And the strain isn't just physical. Travel days demand constant alertness, navigating busy airports, hauling luggage, finding boarding gates, and making tight connections. For someone in their 80s, each of these steps can feel overwhelming, especially when delays or layovers extend the journey. Long waits in unfamiliar places sap both your energy and your patience. And at this age, fatigue isn't just uncomfortable, it can directly impact your safety and decision-making. Sleep disruption is another big factor. Overnight flights, sudden time zone changes, and strange hotel beds make it almost impossible to get the deep rest your body truly needs. For older travelers, even one sleepless night can weaken the immune system, reduce stamina, and leave you feeling exhausted before the trip has even begun. Instead of arriving ready to explore, you may start the trip already worn down. Meals and hydration also become tricky. Airplane food often doesn't match specific dietary needs, and the dry air in cabins speeds up dehydration. Some seniors drink less to avoid frequent trips to cramped airplane bathrooms, but that only increases the risk of dizziness, headaches, or constipation. Small discomforts add up quickly, especially when combined with hours of inactivity. Then there's the mental strain. Airports and train stations are loud, crowded, and full of constant announcements. For someone with reduced hearing or vision, that sensory overload can be exhausting. By the time you reach your destination, you may already feel mentally drained, making it harder to enjoy the trip itself. When you're younger, bouncing back from a long, stressful travel day might just take a good night's sleep. But after 80, recovery takes longer and the discomforts can linger, sometimes affecting the rest of your journey. That's why the real question becomes, is the experience on the other side of the trip worth the cost to your body and mind? Travel after 80 can still be enjoyable, but it works best when transportation is comfortable, direct, and tailored to your current needs, not when it requires days of endurance before the adventure even begins. Reason #5, financial strain and hidden costs. Another reason to think carefully about traveling after 80 is the financial pressure it can create, especially when unexpected expenses begin piling up. At this stage of life, many people are living on fixed incomes or carefully managed savings. Travel, which may once have been a regular part of your budget, can now become a much heavier burden. The costs of flights, hotels, and insurance have risen steadily over the years. On top of that, age-specific needs like accessible rooms, medical coverage, or mobility aids can drive costs even higher. What seems affordable on paper can quickly spiral into something far more expensive once the trip actually begins. One of the biggest financial risks comes from medical expenses abroad. Even with travel insurance, coverage isn't always as comprehensive as it looks. Deductibles, exclusions, and coverage limits can leave you paying thousands out of pocket. In some countries, hospitals even require upfront payment before treatment, and trying to arrange reimbursement later can be stressful and time-consuming. Add to that the possibility of needing to cut your trip short due to illness or injury, which can mean expensive last-minute flight changes or non-refundable cancellations, and the costs can skyrocket fast. Then there are the hidden costs that travelers often underestimate. Currency exchange fees, international transaction charges, tipping customs, and inflated tourist prices can stretch your budget further than expected. Meals in airports or busy tourist districts are notoriously overpriced, and transportation costs can add up quickly. If public transit isn't a safe or realistic option due to mobility concerns, relying on taxis, rideshares, or private shuttles can significantly increase daily spending. Even small expenses add up over time, and without careful monitoring, you might return home to find your finances far tighter than anticipated. There are also the matter of comfort and convenience. Many older travelers understandably prioritize direct flights, seat upgrades for extra legroom, central hotels, or guided tours that remove the stress of planning. These choices can make travel far more enjoyable, but they also come with higher price tags, and while they may be necessary for your well-being, they significantly increase the overall cost of the trip. Finally, it's important to consider the long-term impact of travel on your financial security. After 80, your savings aren't just for comfort. They're your safeguard for future healthcare, home maintenance, and daily living needs. Overspending on travel today could make it harder to manage the essentials tomorrow. The bottom line is this: travel can still be rewarding, but it's crucial to weigh whether the joy of the trip truly justifies the financial stress it may cause. Reason #6, emotional and mental stress from disrupted routines. One of the most underestimated challenges of traveling after 80 is the emotional and mental strain that comes from leaving behind familiar routines. At this stage of life, routines aren't just habits, they're sources of comfort, stability, and independence. Your morning walk, your set meal schedule, your familiar surroundings, these patterns help you feel secure and in control. When travel disrupts them, even for a short time, it can trigger feelings of unease, disorientation, or anxiety that are difficult to shake. Travel also comes with constant decision-making: where to eat, how to get around, when to rest, what activities to choose. For younger travelers, that might feel exciting, but for those over 80, this decision fatigue can quickly drain energy and diminish enjoyment. The mental load is even heavier if you're traveling with others who move at a faster pace or have different preferences, leaving you feeling pressured to keep up. Navigating unfamiliar environments adds to the stress. Busy streets, crowded airports, large hotels, and confusing public transportation systems can all feel overwhelming if memory, vision, or hearing aren't as sharp as they once were. Even something small like getting turned around in a new city or struggling to read local signs can lead to frustration and worry. Over time, these small stresses add up, making the trip feel less like an adventure and more like a constant challenge. Sleep disruption is another major factor. New beds, unfamiliar sounds, and time zone changes can interfere with rest. Without deep restorative sleep, it's easy to become more irritable, less patient, and less resilient to the everyday setbacks that travel often brings. Instead of joy and excitement, fatigue and irritability can take over. And finally, there's the hidden impact of losing your sense of connection. At home, you might chat with a neighbor, catch up with a friend, or follow your familiar daily rhythm. On the road, those comforting points of contact are gone. Even when surrounded by people, travel can sometimes feel lonely, and that emotional toll can weigh heavily over time. The truth is, disrupted routines don't just affect your schedule. They affect your peace of mind. And after 80, peace of mind is one of the most valuable things you can protect. As we wrap up this discussion, let's pause to reflect on the 6 reasons we've just explored. Each one touches a different part of life after 80: your health, your safety, your comfort, your finances, and your emotional well-being. Taken together, they paint a clear picture. Travel at this age, while still possible, comes with challenges that should not be overlooked. The purpose of this video isn't to take away your love for adventure. It's to help you see the bigger picture so you can make choices that truly serve you. Think about which of these reasons resonated with you the most. Was it the concern about getting medical help quickly, the risks of falls and accidents, the stress of disrupted routines, or maybe it was the reminder of how even hidden costs can affect your long-term financial security? By identifying what matters most to you, you give yourself the power to shape a life that prioritizes what truly counts: your safety, your peace of mind, and your quality of life. Travel can absolutely be a beautiful thing, and for many, it remains a source of joy well into their later years. But there's also great wisdom in recognizing that joy doesn't always require a boarding pass. Sometimes the deepest fulfillment comes from staying close to home, where you are surrounded by comfort, familiarity, and the people who care about you. Choosing not to take a trip doesn't mean you're missing out. It means you're protecting the independence and stability you've worked so hard to build. And often, the things we seek in faraway places, connection, beauty, excitement, can be found right where we are, in our own communities, with far less strain and far more security. Whether it's discovering a new hobby, strengthening relationships with loved ones, or simply enjoying the rhythm of daily life, there are countless ways to continue growing, exploring, and finding joy without ever packing a suitcase. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. What was the one insight from this video that stood out to you the most, and how will you use it in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences not only inspire us, but also help others in this community feel supported and understood. If you found this video valuable, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future content. And if you know someone who could benefit from these insights, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. Your support means the world to us, and it allows us to keep creating content that informs, encourages, and inspires. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.